Donald Trump knows it's over. He knows that his administration is collapsing, and he knows that he is collapsing as well, which is why he is unable to stay focused in the face of so much panic. And it is why tonight, at an event that was supposed to be celebrating Hanukkah, Donald Trump talked about everything but. He rambled about his ballroom. He talked about planes. He was unable to speak at times. He completely melted down, and we're going to get into it all and why it might have been caused by Marjorie Taylor Greene. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before Donald Trump got up to deliver what wasn't even a speech, Marjorie Taylor Greene had an interview aired on CNN in which she ripped into Donald Trump that I want to start with before we get to his speech, and it began with her criticism of Donald Trump's disgusting post about Rob Reiner, and I want to take a look at what she had to say.
His supporters, including myself, we didn't appreciate hearing the president, who himself was shot, and after Charlie Kirk's horrific murder, we didn't appreciate, even if you don't agree with Rob Reiner politically, there was no reason for his statement to be the statement that he made.
Yeah, when he says, I mean, this was in the immediate aftermath of us finding out about Rob Reiner, and obviously now his son has been taken into custody. You've said that his murder was not about politics or political enemies. The president called him bad for our country and said he was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned.
I thought that statement was absolutely, completely below the office of the President of the United States, classless, and it was just wrong. It's a tragic murder. It's a family ripped apart. And from my understanding, what I've seen on the news, it was drug abuse and mental illness. And many families across America deal with family members that are drug addicts or have mental health issues. And I think the president should have responded with compassion and talked about those issues. He didn't have to make it about politics. And I think that was, it was really below what we expect our president to talk like.
While I do appreciate the sentiment of what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying, it's difficult for me to square it with how Marjorie Taylor Greene has acted in the past. And I know a lot of people are going to comment, Jack, give her grace, at least she's speaking out. But to be surprised by how Donald Trump behaves in this moment right now means that you have either had your head in the sand, your head under a rock, or your head in his ass. That's the only way you couldn't know who this version of Donald Trump is. So for Marjorie Taylor Greene to be lauded for coming to her senses, I don't really love. I'm certainly not going to do. I will, though, enjoy the fact that she is going to war with Donald Trump, that she is causing Trump to lose his mind, and she's doing so by honestly just admitting the truth, not even about policy, but about Donald Trump's relationship to the MAGA movement currently. And what she said right here about the dam breaking might be one of the most damning indictments of Donald Trump's presidency yet.
It's clearly also really tragic just for the Reiner family.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you have no problem calling out what the president said, but why do you think other Republicans have struggled to do so?
I can't comprehend it, but Caitlin, I'd like to point something out. Just last week, and I think the dam is breaking. Many Republicans may not have called him out, but last week 13 Republicans voted with Democrats to overturn one of President Trump's executive orders, which enabled him to fire federal workers. We also saw Indiana Republicans vote against redistricting. He didn't call any of them traitors and call for primaries against them. But I would like to say that that is a sign where you're seeing Republicans, they're entering the campaign phase for 2026, which is a large signal that lame duck season has begun and that Republicans will go in all in for themselves in order to save their own reelections.
You think the dam is breaking, and
Marjorie Taylor Greene has diagnosed what I have long been saying, that this idea that Donald Trump won some huge sweeping cultural mandate in 2024 and it could carry him to commit whatever crime he wanted, to act in whatever corrupt fashion he pleased, just wasn't the case. Elon Musk is now one of the most politically toxic figures in America because of his relationship with Donald Trump and the disaster that Doge was. And Donald Trump is feeling that on all policy fronts, whether it be the economy, whether it be going to war with Venezuela, covering up the Epstein files, covering up his health. Donald Trump is panicked because he sees the fracturing, and it's why tonight he just wanted to rant and ramble. And it started with a freak out about his ballroom.
Soon you'll have a ballroom that's so big I can handle. And we just won the case today. Did you know that, Mark? We just won the case. We got sued. We're donating a $400 million ballroom, and we got sued not to build it. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom, and we're giving them, myself and donors are giving them, free of charge, for nothing. We're donating a building that's approximately 400 million. I think I'll do it for less, but it's 400. I should do it for less. I will do it for less. But just in case I say 400, otherwise if I go $3 over, the press will say, it costs more. I built under budget and ahead of schedule. Right, Jason? Always. I know how to build under budget. I build good. But we won the case. They asked for a restraining order to stop us from building a magnificent ballroom. I said, who would ask for a restraining? We're giving them, Sid, a $400 million. It'll be the most beautiful ballroom, and it'll handle inaugurations. It's got 5-inch thick glass windows. It's impenetrable by anything but a howitzer. It's impenetrable. Now, I will say, if I'm up making a speech someday, Mark, and I hear ding, 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 I'm out of there. But we have... But you know what? You're going to have the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world, and you're going to love it. It's going to fit beautifully with the White House. Happy Hanukkah. Have a great year. We love you, and we love Israel. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
People are unable to afford their groceries. Donald Trump is throwing a giant party at the White House right now, and he's wondering why we're unsatisfied with the $400 million being spent on a ballroom by billionaires and CEOs who are getting tax cuts because they are willing to support an endeavor, which, by the way, I do not believe for a second isn't going to cost us, the taxpayer, any money. It certainly will. And so Donald Trump throwing a big party and saying, oh, but this isn't big enough. Let me rant and ramble. And the people who want to stop you are the people who actually care about our country and want to see its history preserved and don't want a buffoon continuing to besmirch and destroy it. And speaking of a buffoon, just listen to how dumb Trump sounded here.
They can fly those things the way they can aim it at a target in the dark of night, the darkest you've ever seen. They wanted to be as dark as possible. They didn't want anything. And the only time anybody could see those planes was when those bomb chutes open up, because it becomes totally unstealth when it goes. I explained that to Mark Levin once. You're going in, you go like this, and as soon as it goes like this, for some reason, the plane is totally visible, not good. And I watched it happening, and it's like I'm sitting home watching it. You know, it's amazing. The Situation Room is an amazing place. But I watched him go bing, bing. It went bing, bing, and 2 massive 100,000-pound bombs come pouring out.
The plane went bing, 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 bong, bing. This guy controls the nuclear codes? Really? Like at the end of the day, I know there are things that we can get more upset about. There's always something we can get more upset about. But the stupidity of it all is just a drag, just a daily drag. It is so tiring to watch. It is so exhausting, which is why we need days like today, in which we get tremendous wins in the form of MAGA infighting that has really rocked Donald Trump's administration. And Ari Melber broke it all down right here.
Again, Vanity Fair writing, Wiles believed a middle ground on tariffs would ultimately succeed. She said it's been more painful than I expected. Again, these are the quotes of Trump's top aide, and they are quite different from the usual defenses we hear. And they are more credible attacks on the administration, its policies, and some of its top members. Why and how this came out, why she talks like this, we'll get into in conversation. But I want to go to the enemies list here, because more than anything else, which might just be politically embarrassing, Wiles has taken action through these words tonight. She has given evidence and confirmation of an unlawful prosecution on the enemies list charges, which means what she says, because she's a government official, is now probably court evidence and could doom some of the cases you see on your screen. As for the Trump revenge plots, she says, I don't think he's on a revenge tour. In some cases, it may look like retribution. And there may be an element of that from time to time. Who would blame him? Not me. So that's sort of her warm-up. And if that's all she said, okay, debatable. Then, when Vanity Fair asked about New York Attorney General Letitia James, who the DOJ has now thrice failed to indict, she says, well, that might be the one retribution. That is a confession. That is potentially admissible in court. You have a top White House official admitting it's retribution. In case you're keeping score, retribution is exactly the kind of evidence that defense counsel needs to get the case tossed. As for James Comey, she says, I mean, people could think it does look vindictive. I can't tell you why you shouldn't think that. I don't think he wakes up thinking about retribution, but when there's an opportunity, he will go for it. This is meaningfully negative for the DOJ case and plan against Comey. If she meant to hurt her own side, okay. If she didn't, that's why some people maybe aren't as good at interviews. Wiles says she has a loose agreement with Trump that the score settling will end before the first 90 days are over. That was a planned deadline that he didn't meet because she admits the score settling continues. This is evidence of what is called selective prosecution, which A, can get the case tossed, B, can get other people in trouble depending on how judges view it. Wiles says today the article is a disingenuously framed hit piece on me with significant context disregarded. Notice what she does not say, and which makes her admittedly a little different than some around Trump. She doesn't deny saying these things.
MAGA is breaking down, and there is a lot of speculation about why Susie Wiles gave this interview, why she spoke to Vanity Fair in such a way. There's some people suggesting that it might have been she didn't realize she was on the record. It might have been that she was just furious and venting. It might have been a power play. It's very possible that Susie Wiles, knowing that there was a bit of a loosening of the grip of power that not just Trump but she had within MAGA, was hoping that if a story like this went out, then it would mean that Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance and Stephen Miller and Carolyn Levitt would then have to kiss her ring, because all of them condemned it today. They said this was the fake news, all these words were taken out of context, complete spin, a bad interview. So Susie Wiles, although she embarrassed the whole administration and frankly herself, might come out of this the winner, right? Might come out of this stronger. But Donald Trump certainly didn't. Stephen Miller didn't. J.D. Vance didn't. And to describe Donald Trump as having an alcoholic's personality, and he's someone who doesn't drink, famously, you could have just called him an asshole, but that's where we are. Donald Trump's chief of staff calling him an asshole in print for us all to read. That is where MAGA is. So don't believe for a second we can't beat these people, because we can and we will. And we're going to talk about that on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.